Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Hello, welcome into Wildcast Studios on Rogers TV for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast, QMJH Finals Edition. Well, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats, presented by Alpha's Appliance Solutions, the premier destination for all KitchenAid, Maytag, and Whirlpool appliances in Moncton. Right now, they've got the KitchenAid built-in savings event. Save $600 when you purchase any 3, $800 when you purchase any 4, $1,200 when you purchase 4 or more. Qualifying KitchenAid built-in major kitchen appliances. Qualifying purchase made from now till June 4th. For those and any other deals, go to appliancesolutions.ca. As always, fan listeners, I am your host, Adam Lund, and I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. YQM, Mr. Christmas Starbucks, Mr. Freshly Cut Mullet for the finals, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. How are you doing?
We made it.
We made it.
Final two.
Yep. It's been a long 8 years, but we made it.
We made it. It's we should have been here 5 years ago,
Yep.
but the lousy COVID prevented that from happening.
Yep.
But that's the junior hockey cycle. You can turn things around. Takes a few years,
Yep.
but it's mission.
It's been a long road.
Yeah. Did a lot of good years, bad years. But we made it. Final two.
How does this compare to 06 and 2010 being at the finals? I mean, 06, you knew you were going to the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
But compared to 06 and 2010, what is this like? How do you feel now that you have adult money?
Yeah, I mean the vibe in the city is definitely different.
Yep.
Obviously 06, the hype was there for the Memorial Cup, so everybody was talking about it. Didn't matter where he went in town. It was everybody was talking Wildcats hockey. And 2010, I mean it was the New Brunswick championship. It was Moncton against St. John, so it was that weird.
And Moncton was a year early, weren't they? Or was St. John a year early?
St. John was a year early.
Okay.
But it was that since it was St. John, it was 1-1-1-1-1-1-1 series. So it was.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I think it was something just.
I think you're right. I think somebody's.
But it was just that series was just so crazy because it was like the media was all over it. I remember there was a CTV News, Live at 5 story, and they went to, I think, the high school in Sussex, because Sussex is like the midway point.
Mm-hmm.
And they must have interviewed 20 kids to be like, are you cheering for St. John or are you cheering for Moncton? It was straight down the middle. That was just a different vibe, because it was it was rivalry.
Yeah. It
was New Brunswick. It was the first time that it was, two maritime teams facing off against each other for, the Q League final. And it was something else. It was, but this is different. I mean, new rink. It seems like it's the same as 2006. Everybody's talking about the team.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter where you go. Like you wear a Wildcats hat or a shirt or a jacket around town, you're getting acknowledged. You're going through the Tim's drive-through and people are talking about the Cats. And so I think there's the hype is real. And I think I can say that with the utmost confidence, is that you can feel it. You can feel the people want this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good time to be alive.
Just need some dates.
Yeah.
Need some dates. It's pretty easy to figure out. Like, just need some dates. Yeah, you're right. 2010 was 1-1-1-1-1, 5-1 Moncton, 9-3 Moncton, 6-4 St. John, 3-2 St. John, 5-1 Moncton, 7-4 Moncton.
Yeah.
1-1-1. Like, why?
Yeah, it was definitely a different series. I remember trying to get tickets. The games in St. John were hard. It was like registering Avery for gymnastics. Like if you were not in front of your computer at 10 o'clock,
refresh.
They were gone.
Yeah.
They were gone. And I
Did you go up
remember.
there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was there for, I think at least it was Moncton in 6.
Yeah.
I think I was there for 2 games in St. John.
Oh, okay.
And the game 5 was on a Friday or Saturday. I can't exactly remember, but it was. I just remember there being so many people that went to Rockies to go eat at Rockies before Game 5, and it was just all Moncton fans, and there was like "Go Cats, Go" chants being started inside a bar in St. John, and that rink was probably, no word of a lie, 40% Moncton fans.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
in Game 5.
In Game 5, and then obviously coming home in Game 6 and winning it on home ice. So it was a really, really, really fun series.
And you got a picture taken with it too.
I did. Yeah.
Maybe recreate that again this time.
I hope so.
Hope so.
I
and this time you're media too, so it's an even different way to watch the games too, right?
I went through my Facebook and found that picture of me with the cup in 2010. I saved it, so I'm just like, okay,
with Riopel, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
But maybe I cropped him out. So
maybe. Megan's good. We're down to current. What are you? 3 weeks away? 4 weeks away?
It'll be 4 weeks tomorrow. 4 weeks on Tuesday.
Wow.
We're it's getting down to crunch time. What are we tomorrow? May this. When's this show coming out?
Wednesday.
Yeah. So we'll be in the 37th week on this when this show comes out. So speaking of May 6th, happy birthday, Drew Bear.
Oh yeah. Yesterday. Happy belated birthday there, Drew Bear.
Correct. I've been there.
Yeah. It's a fun time to be alive. Like this, Facebook is its own fun area sometimes, but you're seeing it all over the place. You're seeing people talk about it. This is the closest to a championship with a team I've ever been around live in a city. So I'm like, it's so good. And yet, can we just get dates? Like, what are we waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what were we waiting for? We knew it was like, it wasn't like if they played Rimouski, they were the home team. If they played Shawinigan, they were the road team. You had to wait. Like, the WHL schedule came out. The OHL schedule came out. You know, it's going to be double headers on TSN again. All the games are on TSN. We'll get to this later on. It's a fun vibe in the city, and I'm excited for the weekend and see what this team's all about. It's weird though. When your team is good, you play 2 games, and then 2 weeks later you play 2 games, and then 2 weeks later you play 2 games. Like, it's a weird vibe in the city. There's not that Game 5 or that Game 6 or thank God no Game 7, but it's a weird vibe to play 2 and then hang out, and then 2 and then hang out, and then 2 and hang out. Like,
well, it's nice because it's not making you and I stressed out trying to source. Tyrannosaurus is right. Nervous Rex.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's giving me my weekends back.
Yeah.
Stress-free weekends. I like it.
Stress-free weekends are great. Allows this show to come out on Mondays. We don't have to. Only had to finagle one episode for Random Tuesdays. So
love it. It's perfect. Great schedule so far. Keep it up.
Absolutely. All right. Don't forget, as always, you can follow us on the social medias: Twitter, Moncton Wildcats; Instagram, Wildcats Podcast; TikTok, Wildcats Podcast; and as well on YouTube. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button. It's the finals. You're going to want to tune into the coverage that we're about to have. And if we go to the next tournament, one of us is going up there. So you're going to want to stay tuned to the YouTube. There's going to be a lot of coverage as much as possible, and any lives. I mean, who knows? We may drop a live if there's a very, very good reason to drop a live here in the next.
I'll be live from
days.
The hospital.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. All right. Quick question. We're getting into some more blind rankings.
Oh, God.
I gave you a heads up this time.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm a little more prepared for this one, but we both agreed that the best song was not on the list because it's an automatic number 1.
It is an automatic number 1, and that's
A moment like this.
No, we
some
didn't.
people wait a lifetime.
And this all stems from I was just watching TV with Kiva, just trying to keep her engaged, trying to keep her awake, and was watching the Stingray music video channels like I did when I was 16. Just watch music videos all the time. Liv was like, "Why do you watch those?" I'm like, because I don't feel like watching Big Bang Theory again or Friends again, or there's nothing on. So I just watch music videos. And no word of a lie, I turned it on, and the first one on the retro channel was like my first video. I got rickrolled turned it right to it, and it was Rick Astley.
Oh.
Like, what are the odds? It's Rick Astley playing. But anyways, I heard a Kelly Clarkson song, and I'm like, she has so many good tunes.
Yeah.
Let's blind rank Jeremy on Kelly Clarkson. I had to give him I gave him a heads up.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. I gave him a heads up. I was like, do you want to know or do you want to be surprised? And I was thankful you said you wanted to know because I didn't want to do this. And you'd be like, I'm not a big fan of hers.
Yeah. Oh.
So many bangers, so many great tunes. It was tough to nail it down. Let's kick it off. Since You've Been Gone.
Oh. That's if a moment like this is not the best.
Yeah.
This is the best. Like tremendous karaoke song. You could have 50 dudes at a bar and this song comes on, and they're probably singing every word off the top of their lungs. So number one.
Yeah. All right. Catching My Breath.
Catching My Breath.
Yeah. Catching My Breath. Letting it go. Dun, 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 dun.
It's going to be the later half.
Yep.
8.
Good start so far.
Yeah.
Stronger.
What doesn't
kill you makes you stronger.
I'll go 3.
All right. Behind These Hazel Eyes.
Oof. Halfway. 5.
Oh. Heartbeat Song.
Heartbeat song.
This is my heartbeat. Dun, 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 won't play it. Dun, dun. Here, I'll give it to you.
Oh yes, okay.
That's my favorite. Like that would be 2 for me.
6. Ouch.
Heartbeat. All right, we got Breakaway.
And break away. Where am I at?
You got 2, 4, 7, 9, 10.
4 for that one.
Never Again.
Never.
It's not the Nickelback.
I'm thinking of the Nickelback song.
It's not the Nickelback one. Where did I find that?
That's where I went to Nickelback right away.
Yeah. Never Again. That's almost 25 years old, that album.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Where are you?
Never Again.
Until I play it, you're thinking of Nickelback.
It's always going to Nickelback.
I was on there.
Never. See, I don't know that one, so I'm almost like immediately going towards the back half.
This is actually the song I heard on the music video that was like, oh, I love that tune. Yeah. And that's about 10 seconds.
7.
7. So you got 2, 9, and 10 left.
Okay.
Very good. That one. My Life Would Suck Without You.
Oh. 2, 9, and 10?
2, 9, and 10.
That's going to go 2. I'm probably going to forget. This is not going to be good.
9 is Walk Away and Miss Independent. So those are the last 2.
Okay, Miss Independent. This has nothing to do with. I'll go 10. And Walk Away is 9.
Mm-hmm.
Do I even know Walk Away? I'm not a big Miss Independent fan.
Yeah.
Walk Away. I can't think of it. Oh yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Should I stay or
yeah.
should I go?
So 10-1, you got Miss Independent, Walk Away. Catching My Breath is 8. Never Again is 7. Heartbreak is 6. Behind These Hazel Eyes is 5. Breakaway is 4. Stronger. Life is 2. What is Life? And Since You've Been Gone. Yeah.
And of course, the top Kelly
top
Clarkson
song
of all time.
Yeah.
It's a moment like this.
Yes. But if I give you that one, although I should have, that would have been good to put that like the 7th one when you already
What if
had
I
like
told
one.
you it was all meant to be? Would you believe me?
Maybe.
Would you agree?
I would.
It's almost that feeling. We've met before. So tell me that you don't think I'm crazy.
There it is. There it is. That's
When
not
I
bad,
tell you,
though.
love has come here and now.
Those lyrics?
Yeah.
Well done.
A moment like this, some people wait a lifetime. For a moment like this, some people search forever for that one special kiss. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Golf clap.
News and notes from around the queue.
News and notes from around the queue presented by Integrity Lawn Care. Check them out on Instagram or give them a call 506-866-8218 or email them at integritylawncare@hotmail.com. Not much news going on with not much hockey going on right now. Team Canada, the U18s, they come home with gold after beating Sweden 7-0 in the gold medal game. So congratulations to QMJHLers Lucas Beckman, Alex Wang, Xavier Villeneuve, Liam Kilfoyle, as well coaches Travis Crickard, Matthew Turcotte, and video coach Matthew Smith of the Titan/Newfoundland Regiment. And tough week for Turcotte as he comes home with gold medal and he was let go by the Armada on Monday. I didn't see, like, file this one under, didn't see coming.
Yeah.
If you remember when we talked about Coach of the Year, he was on my list. I mean, they got better when they traded Fauchon and got Goryanov, I think. I mean, first round playoff exit where they just kind of went away to Sherbrooke, obviously,
I
but
think that's kind of where it was.
yeah, this one I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, they got better. Yeah, they had some playoff heartbreak in the first round, but I just don't. That's tough. Highs and lows of coaching.
It is tough. Yeah. At the same time, I think they're all in.
Mm-hmm.
They're ready to go next year. Next year is going to be their year. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're gunning for a big name. Like someone that's going to come in there and really put them on the map. Like, it's another organization that's kind of been waiting and waiting and waiting. And the first name that pops up is Stefan Julien, who was the head coach and GM of Sherbrooke for a few years. And he's been coaching in the AHL with Grand Rapids for the past two seasons. That's the first name that kind of jumps off at me. Won a World Junior gold medal. It's not a huge big name, but it's good enough. I think that could probably put them over the top. I think it's better than Turcotte.
Because that's a tough market because you're competing with Laval Rocket, the Montreal Canadiens, the PWHL.
Yep.
Like, you need a Gardner style name right now, especially in your all in year. You need a Gardner style name to come in and just have people excited for. I mean, the last time they went to a final was 2017.
Yeah. Against
St. John. So didn't they go in 2018 too?
Makes Moncton look good.
Yeah. No, they went to back-to-back finals in 2017 and then 2018.
Yeah, like, it makes Moncton look good.
Yeah.
Jeez. No, but I think they're gonna get a big name. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a name that everybody's familiar with. So we'll stick on that. I mean, most teams that want to have a new head coach named in time for the draft, and here we are a month away, right? So we will we'll see where there's smoke, there's fire.
He wasn't the GM too. He was just the coach, right?
Stefan Julien?
No, Turcotte.
No, Turcotte was just coach. Yeah.
And I mean, luckily they don't have a draft. midway through the finals, like the WHL,
Mm.
or 2 weeks ago, like the OHL.
That's right.
I mean, we're worrying about watching games in the third round and whatnot, and they're having development camps in Barrie and Peterborough,
that's
like
wild.
it's just crazy early.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know.
Is that the first domino to fall here? Is there going to be other ones that will follow?
Is there going to be other ones?
That's going to be the.
Is there a name from the midget Quebec names that is a hot name?
I mean, you could make the
Like
argument
Marc-Andre
for maybe
Bergeron.
Stefan Robida.
Yeah.
But again,
Bergeron, the guy who was in Levy.
Um,
That's not one of the bigger names, is it? No.
Just I don't think so. But still,
because Robida, Bergeron, like those are names
they're going to
want
to. They're going to want somebody that these players are going to want to play for. That's not saying they didn't want to play for Turcotte, but considering how well the second half they had, for them to follow the Sherbrooke, I think is kind of a bit of a disappointment. But they've got a really good future. We saw what Xavier Villeneuve was able to do with the U18s. We know Justin Carbonneau's capable of doing. Their goaltending, I don't think they need to make any improvements in their nets. They're maybe a couple pieces away from being right up there with with the Chicoutimi next year and with Newfoundland. So we'll see. We'll see what they can pull off here.
And the X factor in all of it is in knowing what teams are going to be good next year. How junior hockey cycles work is the NCAA rule. And who they can recruit and who other teams can recruit to maybe spin things around a little bit faster before it's a full on. You go to the finals, you go to the 18th in the league, and you got to work your way back up. I think we see a little less of that than anything else. And one piece of news that I almost missed: Mr. Jim Hulton of the Islanders will be going into the Kingston, Ontario Sports Hall of Fame this weekend. 6th all-time in coaching wins among active CHL coaches, and very well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something that was, I think it was the ceremony was last Friday.
Yeah.
And yes, good on him. But speaking of Ontario,
you're like, well done.
I'm going to transition this one.
Yeah. Alrighty, well done. Wrong button. Let's find the right button.
View from the other bench.
Yes, speaking of Ontario, we are 17 days away from the Memorial Cup, and we have the finals basically set in all 3 leagues with all games going on TSN. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we have some guests to help us preview it? We're going to start in the OHL, as it is London against Oshawa. And our guest is the founder of Armchair GM Sports Networks. He's the beat writer for the Niagara House Dogs, and he's the official podcast or host of the official podcast, Dog Pound Podcast, to preview that series. Brandon Caputo. Welcome in, Brandon. How are you?
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Good days out there in Moncton right now.
Not bad.
We'd like to have a schedule like we talked about, but not too bad. I guess I'll kick it off. I mean, London, Oshawa for the second straight year. Last year, the Knights just took Oshawa to the cleaners. Now Oshawa, I think, had like 7 guys injured, but this isn't going to be that type of series. Like, how much different are the gens this year going into this series against the vaunted, hated London Knights?
Well, they're definitely playing a lot better going into this playoff series than they did against the London Knights. I mean, the second half of the year after the trade deadline, they really were firing on all cylinders. They made a coaching change halfway through the year, guys, and they brought in Brad Malone, who had never been a coach before. He was player development, finished his playing career, and he came in as an assistant and then took over as the interim head coach. And he's been fantastic for them. They brought in Mario Pouliot, who you guys might know from the QMJHL, 2-time Memorial Cup champion. He's also behind the bench kind of as an advisor, trying to help out Brad Malone in that role with experience and things like that. So when you look at Oshawa's actual lineup, they came into this playoffs. They were the number 4 seed going up against a tough Brampton Steelheads team. They were able to win that in 6. And then they faced off against the Brantford Bulldogs, who were the number 1 seed, who obviously lost 72 goal man Nick Lardis during that series, and the series really turned in Oshawa's favor in that sense. And then they went on to face the Barrie Colts in the 3rd round, and were able to get a 4-game sweep on the number 2 seeded Colts. So they didn't have home ice advantage in rounds 2 and 3, but they were still able to come away with 2 wins and win some key games on the road and things like that. But you can't talk about the Oshawa Generals without talking about Beckett Seneca, the 3rd overall pick from the Anaheim Ducks, just this past draft. And then they also picked up Colby Barlow, 1st-round pick of the Winnipeg Jets, and Callum Ritchie, who 1st-round pick of Colorado, was traded to the New York Islanders in that Brock Nelson trade at the deadline. And they got a veteran decor with guys like Luca Morelli. Ben Danford's a 1st-round pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs to go out and get Andrew Gibson from the Sioux Greyhounds. And then the goaltender of the year, Jacob Oster, on the back end. Oshawa, they don't want to get swept in 4 games like they did last year. And, this year, that's kind of what their lineups look like.
Obviously, for Oshawa to make it to the Memorial Cup would be extra special for Brad Malone, native of Miramichi in New Brunswick. Yeah. So the Memorial Cup would kind of be like not necessarily a homecoming for him, but a couple hours drive. Not a bad thing. But when you hear the name London Knights, you always think superpower. They're undefeated in the playoffs so far this year. Realistically, what does Oshawa have to do to not only beat London, but to beat them 4 times?
Well, they have to score goals. London only allowed 2 goals or less in all 4 of the games against the Kitchener Rangers in their Western Conference final matchup. So they have to be able to put pucks past Austin Elliott, who has only lost 1 game this season, guys. He's on a 25-game unbeaten streak. Just an incredible ad for them as an overage goaltender. Was put on waivers from the Kamloops Blazers because they had 2 solid goaltenders. He was claimed by the Barrie Colts and then traded to the London Knights for a mid-round draft pick, and he's sort of taken off.
Sorry, he's a Barrie guy and he just rolled his eyes.
Yeah, and then Barrie gives up 6 goals in every single game. It seemed like, even though no disrespect to Sam Hillebrand and Ben Horebic, but it just fell in the London Knights' lap once again, just like Michael Simpson was last year as an overage goaltender, and they just ran with it. And they've been incredible. We talk about all the top end skill that they have, but they can play defense with the best of them. When they get a lead, they can really wear you down and wear you out. Sam Dickinson, 1st-round pick of the San Jose Sharks this last year, he logs like over 30 minutes a game. You got Henry Brustevich, the back there, is going to be a 1st-round pick in the NHL draft as well. Oliver Bonk is a 1st-round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers. So they've got some really solid defenders back there that can wear you out, and their forwards are very good at winning faceoffs, winning defensive zone draws on the penalty kill, and just taking time and space away from the opponent. And they did that against the Kitchener Rangers in round 3.
And that's where special teams, especially in a final, and obviously if you look at coaching, Brad Malone looks like he's the big underdog in this, going against Dale Hunter, who's one of the greatest to ever do it in the CHL. But special teams wise, I mean, does Oshawa have to stay out of the box? Does London have to stay out of the box? I know Oshawa's 2nd in power play scoring. London's, I think, 5th or 6th. How big is special teams in this? Because it just seems like London isn't needing a power play because they're just being disciplined.
Yeah, I mean, they've been able to get under Kitchener's skin in that 3rd round, to get them to take some untimely penalties, and then they capitalized on them. You look at Casper Hulton, and who's a trigger man on the power play for them, San Jose Sharks prospect. He was up with the Barracuda this year, and of course was sent back to London to give them another great piece for this season. And he's their trigger man on the power play. But then they can cross the ice to Easton Cowan. They can find Oliver Bonk in the bumper spot. And even though their captain Denver Barkey, a 3rd-round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers, he went down with a scary ankle injury in the first game of the Western Conference final. It doesn't look like he'll be back anytime soon. They've still got so much depth on that team, guys, that they've got 13 NHL prospects on their team. They've got 13 guys with NHL affiliation. They've got guys on the 3rd line that are NHL prospects. So it's just a loaded team from top to bottom, and their second unit could be a number 1 unit on some teams in the OHL. So a team that won 54 games this season in the regular season, which was 4 better than they won last year, and they won the OHL championship last season. So this team's on a mission. It's sort of the last dance for this whole crew there, though. This group that's grown up together with the Barkeys, the Cowans, the Bonks, those kinds of guys. But we know the London Knights with Dale Hunter, 1,000 wins. They never really rebuild, so they'll be back sooner rather than later. But this is their 3rd straight trip to the OHL championship. And, if you're the Oshawa Generals, you have to use last season as fuel, as we heard Ben Danford say in today's media availability with the league, that they're going to use it as fuel, and they're not backing down because they've gone up as the lower seed in the last 2 series and come away with the win. So you don't want to see it go a quick 4-0 like it was last year. Everybody wants to see very good hockey in the finals.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, with all the NHL picks, they've got two guys in the top 10 in OHL scoring. You'd think a team loaded like that would have, would be, all over
Mhm.
the leaderboard, but it's mostly all Oshawa. Like, is this team, are they scoring by committee? Like, are they getting contributions from all four lines, and that's why they've been so successful?
Well, guys, you also have to take into account that they've had 3 sweeps so far, so they only played in 12 playoff games.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you take that into account and you're facing off against teams that have gone 6 and 7, they just have more games played. So
Right.
when you look at it, you have to say that the London Knights in 12 games, that they've played in the playoffs, they've got multiple guys over a point a game. You got Sam Dickinson from the back end. You got Easton Cowan, the Toronto Maple Leafs first rounders, going up against another Toronto Maple Leafs first rounder in Ben Danford. So that'll be interesting for those Leaf fans out there. I'm not one of them, but I look at it, guys, and I just think, like, from Oshawa's perspective, they've got that top end talent. You mentioned, London might have the depth, but Oshawa's big guns are going to have to step up in the series. So I'm looking at Beckett Seneca. I'm looking at Callum Ritchie. I'm looking at Colby Barlow, because their top 6 can compete with that London Knights team, and even a guy like Owen Griffin. People wouldn't know who he is, but he was their first round pick in 2023, and he leads their team in goals in the playoffs. Got 15 goals in 16 games. So when you look at it, Oshawa's getting contributions from guys that you wouldn't expect to go along with their top end talent. But yes, to answer your question, the London Knights just have that much more depth, as I mentioned. When you've got NHL prospects playing in your third and fourth line and buying into key roles, you got Will Nickel on the third line, who's an Edmonton prospect. You got Casper Hulton and down there. You've also, with the injury to Denver Barkey, it sort of moves things around a little bit. But Sam O'Reilly and Jacob Julian down the middle as well with Will Nickel. That's a really solid 1-2-3 punch there from the center ice position, and they're so good at winning those key face-offs, defensive zone, offensive zone, power play, penalty kill, and they can just wear you down in the neutral zone. So I look at London's depth to be the difference in the series. I hope Oshawa is able to steal a game or two. Again, London, they went to overtime with Erie in one of the games, and they won a close game, I believe, in game 3 against Kitchener. But other than that, they really haven't been tested or pushed to the limit yet. But again, maybe they can get caught off guard because they've had more time off than anybody, and Oshawa's had to go into pretty much deep series, except this last one that they had with Barrie. Although they did go to a double overtime game in that series. But London just all things are kind of firing for them right now, even without Denver Barkey in the lineup.
So obviously, I mean, the old adage, you're not in trouble till you lose at home. But the way the series went last year, one team knows they can handle them. One team wants to use it for fuel. So just how big is that first game in a sold out Budweiser Gardens, I think it's called in London? Like, just how big is that first game for the Oshawa Generals to know that, if they compete, let's say 7-1, London knows they've got this. Like, how big is that first game going into the series?
Yeah, guys. First of all, over 9,000 fit the now Canada Life Place. It's called.
That's what it's called.
Knights Kingdom, they call it. It's a crazy place for a playoff game. When you fit 9,000 there, it's almost like an AHL building. Some teams can get overwhelmed by going into a junior arena like that. But luckily, Oshawa is probably one of the top 3 or 5 best arenas in the OHL as well. So 2 great buildings are going to be going at it here. 2 great fan bases, 2 of the most storied franchises in the OHL with the most championships. So I look at Oshawa to say, you know what? We went into Barrie in the last round in the East Final, and Barrie hadn't lost a game at home in the playoffs for the first 2 rounds. And Oshawa went up there and won the first 2 in Barrie. So I think they have that confidence to say, you know what? Yeah, we played a really good home team in the last series and we took it to them. So I've been more impressed with Oshawa's road play because they've been the underdog and they haven't had home ice the last two series, and they've been able to win 1 in 4 and 1 in 6 games. So I look at the way Brad Malone and his coaching staff are able to kind of control the game from the back end. I mentioned, their top end scoring, but this team with Jacob Oster on the back end, especially on the road, I think if they can get London, off guard a little bit, because London hasn't played since last Wednesday, I believe, was the last time they played a game. So if Oshawa can come out hard in that first or second period and show, London that they're not going to be ran over in this series, like it's not going to be as easy as it was last year. I think that's going to be big for them as well. I'm also interested to see sort of the lineup combinations, right? Because without a guy like Denver Barkey, it does change things a little bit from London's perspective on how they sort of go about their lineup, because that line of Barkey, Cowan, and Sam O'Reilly was so good this year. Just those guys that have that 6-7 sense on the ice, knowing where each other are. They were so fun to watch. And when you take Barkey out of the lineup, he's such a valuable captain. So I look for Oshawa's back end to be tested in this series because of how good London's offense is. But Oshawa's going to have to put up some goals, guys, because Austin Elliott, when he gets rolling and when London starts to go in that defensive shell that Dale Hunter likes to do, start the bus because it's tough to beat.
Yeah, and I guess this is kind of part of the show where we'd ask you for maybe a prediction. Put on your crystal ball or take a spin of your crystal ball and tell us where you think this series is going to go.
Yeah, well, I hope Rob Simpson, the assistant GM, and Roger Hunt, the GM of the Oshawa Generals, aren't listening to this because I'm having them both on my show tomorrow. So, with putting everything aside, I'm going to say London in 6. I hope it goes long. I hope Oshawa is able to steal her game or two because last year's finals, covering a 4-game sweep, it's not the same, guys. I mean, you guys know what it's like. It's the longer the series goes, the more anticipation it is, and I'll be at all the games covering it on the media side. So it's going to be fun. So I'll say London in 6, but I wouldn't be shocked if London goes a perfect 16-0 in this playoffs because they haven't given me a reason to show that they're not capable of it without Denver Barkey in the lineup, and they want to go for that Memorial Cup that they felt was sort of taken from them last year by the host city Saginaw Spirit that they had beaten in the playoffs and then had beaten in the round robin and just happened to lose to them in the third time.
What do you got?
Well, it's hard for me to disagree. I think London's just depth wise, they're right up there. You'd be hard pressed to find a team that's deeper than the London Knights, and I kind of want to see it go 7. I'd love to see it go 7 games. Don't think it does, but just because I love the theatrics of a good game 7, I'll say the Knights in 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go London in 5. I just think they're just a wagon, and I've used that every time we did predictions early on. That's my word for good teams all of a sudden this year. And I mean, what Austin Elliott's doing and the depth in that team is just. It's hard to bet against them when they go to finals and Memorial Cups in bunches like they're prone to do. So I guess for those that want to follow you and get some info on this series and whatnot, where do they find you and all your info moving forward?
I will say I hope that Oshawa does make it an exciting series for covering it. And last year it was not fun. And I've counted Oshawa out in the last 2 rounds, and they've beaten Brantford and they've beaten Barrie. So maybe they do it again. But I hope it goes pretty long. But you can find our stuff on our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel, as well as on your favorite on-demand audio platform. You can give us a follow on X at Armchair GM Pod, as well as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for all of our short reels and content. And if you want to keep up with the Ice Dogs content as well, that's at Dog Pound Podcast. But you can find everything on our website too, armchairgmsports.com. We're doing a preview show with, like I mentioned, Oshawa Generals GM Roger Hunt and London Knights Assistant General Manager Rob Simpson will be out tomorrow. And our OHL in 60 podcast with Reese Dumani and Colin Ward will also be out tomorrow or Wednesday. I do want to give a shout out real quick to one of my best friends. His name is Ricky. He just moved out to Moncton to the New Brunswick area, and he's a big Moncton Wildcats fan now. So he just moved out there, probably this last year. So a Niagara Ice Dogs sort of fan. Now he's out in New Brunswick. So I wanted to give him a shout out because he's a newcomer, Moncton Wildcats and New Brunswickite. I don't know what they're called out there. So
New Brunswicker.
Yeah.
Sure. But I wanted to give him a shout out because I know he's been to a few of the Moncton games this year.
Perfect. Well, where to let him know where to find content on the team. And hopefully, I don't know if you're going to Rimouski, but if you are, hopefully we can catch up and do something together.
I don't know if it's going to be in the cards, guys. I wish it could, but stranger things have happened, but it would be fun to see Moncton there.
Perfect. All right. Appreciate your time tonight there, Brendan.
Thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
I hated London Knights.
Yeah.
They're always there. But they're just, this is what they do. And it's tough to bet against them in Memorial Cups too, in regular seasons, but it's tough to bet against them that a team's going to beat them 4 of 7 times when they haven't lost all playoffs, and they probably haven't lost 4 games in a row in 6-7 years, maybe. I don't know. Like, it's just, it seems like they're always winning.
Yeah. It's just it's that organization, they're known, they go into the drafts, and it's all these NCAA guys, and they're being drafted by London, and London's bringing them to town and signing them, and all this other stuff, and it just happens every year. They're good this year, and you know damn well they'll probably be back in the finals in 2 years.
Yeah,
they just have a way to expedite the junior hockey cycle in London just based on the market and the staff that they have there. It's incredible.
And culture.
Yep,
they're a winning culture.
Yeah,
like
three championships in a row.
Yep,
crazy. Like that's absurd.
Yeah, we thought the Halifax model was something, but that's why everybody in the CHL strives for the London model.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's one series out of the way. Let's get to the other one. Like I said, we got 17 days away from the Memorial Cup. We got basically the final set in all three leagues. We just had Brandon preview the OHL series, so now we're going to head to the WHL. He's a sports reporter for the Medicine Hat News, and he's here to cover Medicine Hat and Spokane. Welcome in, James Tubb. James, how are you tonight?
Doing good, fellas. Doing good. How are you?
Very well.
We're doing all right. It's the weather's warming up, and it's not Medicine Hat weather, as I'm known, the heat wave that comes when all year it seems, but it's turning, and we're getting ready for finals as you are, right?
Yeah, it was 28 on Saturday. Like not playoff weather, but it was finals weather, which is the best part.
Absolutely. All right, I guess I'll start here. I mean, two highest scoring offenses in the WHL this season. You've got the McKenna Weisblatt Ritchie line with 77 points in 3 games. The Van Holm, Catton, Christel, 99 points in 15 games. Are we in for a shootout in this final, or what are we in for? Like time to be a goalie?
It's a bad time to be a goalie. Coaches everywhere are going to be sweating this series. It has a feeling of it is either going to be a shootout and a track meet, or it's going to be close games, right? Of two teams that, you don't want to make the mistake, whether it's taking a penalty or giving a turnover up and going the other way, because they are going to score. So it is, it's kind of easy to say, but I think it could go either way. I don't think we'll have any 5-3 games. It'll be blowouts, or it'll be 3-1 with an empty netter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're obviously covering, the Tigers. How special has it been to be able to watch a player like Gavin McKenna just progress and grow since becoming a junior?
It's pretty special. I mean, I try to get to as many practices as I can in the morning, and not because I like being at the rink at 9 a.m. every single day. It's watching him and seeing the steps that he can take, and he has taken some really big steps. And it's whether it's his foot speed, his shot, or playing defense. And at the start of the year, he wasn't on the penalty kill. Now he is. Last year was a negative in his stats, and was a positive this year, or a plus in a big way. And obviously the offense helps, but it was just the steps that he took to get better all around, and it's paid off. And everyone has seen it on the highlights, just what he can do when he's playing his full game. It's unreal. And when he has his back to the net, it's you don't know what he's going to do, whether it's the basketball move he did against Prince Albert or setting guys up. It's a lot of fun right now, Kevin McKenna.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily I've had blessed with a newborn, so I've been watching a lot of CHL playoffs, like more than I probably should, staying up till 2:00 in the morning. I didn't learn my lesson last year with Edmonton, but I watched the Calgary Medicine Hat game for the division. I watched the Lethbridge series. I watched all of it, and it just seemed like both teams, especially Medicine Hat, you turn away, you do something, you come back, and they've scored 3. Like, they just score in bunches. And the same with Spokane. Like, what does Spokane have to do against Medicine Hat against Spokane? Like, is this whoever shuts down the lines I just talked about has the best chance to win this series? Like, neither one of these teams are one-line teams, are they?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say. I think Spokane, obviously, their top line gets all the attention, as it should. Those are 3, 2 NHL prospects, and Shea Van Olm is right there if he's not. And, that gets a lot of attention, but they have depth in their lineup. Mathis Preston is one of the best 16-year-olds in the league. Probably should have won Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for Landon Dupont, right? It was kind of that year for the rookies, but, they have depth in their lineup. And same with the Tigers. They have depth galore. And I think it is going to be who wins the special teams. Spokane's penalty kill hasn't really been great these playoffs. They're running at 60% or around 60% right now. So that's something they're going to have to work on. But, if you're the Tigers, I think you just have to keep Spokane to the outside. They like a lot of the net front. And I'm just going back to January and a bit of the playoffs I've seen. They like getting the slot passes and, the one-timers that work a lot in the slot area there. And, can you control that? Can the defense step up and limit that? And the other way, I think, well, actually both ways, pardon me, it is limiting those rush chances that turn into, Tigers scored twice in 6 seconds in a series here in the playoffs. You can't have that, right? You have to limit these chances. And if you give up one, don't give up 2 or 3. It is just give up one and try to rebound. So I think it'll be a lot of containing momentum between two teams that can just thrive on any little bit of momentum.
I think a lot of people were surprised when they announced the host for the Memorial Cup last year, because for next year, I mean, you look at a player like Gavin McKenna, you want him to kind of be the face of the Memorial Cup. Do you think that lit a fire under the team's ass? Pardon my, I know. I think we're allowed to say that word.
We're allowed to say that word.
Do you think it kind of lit a fire under their butts to be like, like, you didn't want us there next year? Look what we can do this year.
Absolutely. One of the first answers was from head coach Willie Desjardins, and he said they can choose who hosts it. They don't get to choose who plays in it. And they built off. It was a banger.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Willie's good with his words, and they went off it, right? They took it as motivation. Kelowna came in here on a Tuesday, and the game was closer than I expected. I forget what the final score was, but there was a lot of energy built up for that one. And the players on Kelowna this year had no impact on that, but it was just the moment of, they recognize the roster that they have and we're going to have next year. And it really feels like a missed opportunity from the Canadian Hockey League. And, we're going to see how it pays off this offseason. Is Kelowna going to have the offseason of a lifetime? They have to, right? They're going to have to build a roster that's worthy of hosting the Memorial Cup. They're going to put on a really good event. I can't wait. It's going to be a concert. It's going to be great. I hope the Tigers make it there to see it. Let's see if they build the roster. The Tigers already had that. And, I think, if they can make it to Rimouski this year, and that's a big if, the Tigers they're going to show why they should have been hosting the Mem Cup next year.
So with Everett was the number 1 team in the league all year and in that U.S. division, and Spokane kind of comes out of it. What is I know you probably can't speak to Spokane, but they haven't been to a final since 2008. Tigers haven't been to a final since 2007. In the old rink. Now they're in the new rink. Like, what is the appetite for this WHL final? I think you shared the ticket line. Like, is it the same? Forgive me, I'm not sure how long you've been in Medicine Hat, but is it the same kind of culture and excitement that it was in the old rink downtown as opposed to the one in Co-op that is a little bit farther out than down? Yeah. Is it the same kind of like here, everywhere you go, everyone's talking Wildcats? Is it the same feel as it was in that downtown rink in 2007 as it is now with the appetite being so long before a final?
I can't speak to 2007. I'll be honest. I moved out here in 2021 from Ontario, but just from what I've gathered talking to people and just being in the city, from covering an 11-win team with the Tigers in 21-22 to this year, it is everywhere in this city. There's flags everywhere. There is, there's a buzz everywhere you go. I went grocery shopping this weekend, stop and chats galore, which is great. Everyone wants to talk to Tigers, and it is just taking over the city in a good way. And it is, I think Co-op Place, while it will never be the arena, that's fine. It can hold more people. We're seeing the crowds are pretty electric here in the playoffs. They've got Welcome to the Jungle back now, and they're just, they're embracing it, and they're really enjoying it. And, the tickets as of this point, I believe it's just overflows available left for game 2. So we'll see if season ticket holders don't pick up theirs, if there's some opening up, but it's going to get close to a sellout, which we don't exactly know what the sellout number is in Co-op. It seems to change, but it's going to be a full crowd here. And I think there's a lot of excitement. It was going to be regardless of whoever they played, but for a Spokane team that's high flying, there's a lot of excitement.
Obviously, the last one for me, Medicine Hat goaltender Harrison Megan lost his dad earlier in the second round, I believe. First round
pre-playoffs. It was
pre-playoffs.
Yeah,
that's what it was. He's 10-0. We talked to Brandon Caputo of the OHL. Elliott's 11-0. We got a guy that's undefeated. Like, just talk about the playoffs that Harrison Megan is having, and you look at a team like that, and when you have high-end teams, everyone's like, well, the goaltender doesn't have to be great. You just got to stop the puck. And then that's not always the case. They have to be a great goaltender to continue to play at a high level and pressure games. So just speak to him and how he's battling through this in in what is probably a bittersweet playoff run for him.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the Mennigan family is going through and has been through these last couple of months. And for Harrison, yeah, it was that game 68 in Calgary. They had to win to clinch the conference, and they did it. And then obviously learned the tragic news. And I think it bonded the team together in a way that they never would have wanted to, but it did. And it's done positive for the team. For him, he's really locked in more so than ever. And we aren't able to talk to Harrison as much as we would have liked, and just he's not available for media, and that's fine and completely understandable with his situation. But for him, the first game is shutout, and then he's recorded 2 shutouts in these playoffs, and just for him, he looks locked in and he looks steady, and it's a new side of him. And as a 20-year-old in the playoffs, that's what you want from your goaltending. And they had Jordan Switzer, the backup, came in for 2 games while Harrison was returning, from time with his family, and it didn't really affect the Tigers. So they've got the goaltending they need. And as you mentioned, I don't think he's, he hasn't had the year Austin Elliott has had, which is it's crazy in London, the former WHLer. But no, I think Mennigan's ready for the task here in the finals.
Yeah, so last one, I guess, before we wrap it up here. Where do you see the series going? Who's you maybe have a little bias there, but who do you see representing the dub in Rimouski?
I think that's hard. It's going to be a really hard series. I think it's one that I think it's going to be won in game 6 or 7. I don't think it'll be crowned in Spokane. If it is, I would be surprised a bit. But I mean, I've been surprised the Tigers have finished as early as they have, just because of how good the teams have been. I'll pick Tigers in 6. I just think with the weapons that they have, the potential looming returns, which we don't know yet, of an Andrew Basha, Caden Lindstrom, right? If they can work into the series.
Yeah.
And I only bring it up because we don't know either here yet. So it's, if they can make it in, that's going to deepen that lineup even more. And what that'll do. Yeah, it would add some real firepower. Yeah. You do, right? We haven't seen Caden Lindstrom since last April, Andrew Basha since December. So I think if those 2 can get in, then it'll help the Tigers a lot. But I still think 6. I think Spokane's got enough offense that they could really take a game or 2. And Dawson Cowan, maybe he steps up in net and takes over a game if he has to, right? So that's what my prediction would be, is Tigers in 6.
Yeah, I just love 7-game series. just for the I said it with Brandon, just for the theatrics, and it is such a tough series to predict. And as a fan of Moncton, we're hoping to be there in Rimouski, and it's like, who would you rather face? But I think it's from an entertainment value, you want to see Gavin McKenna.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I'll go Medicine Hat in 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Sorry, what?
If it goes 7, Willie Desjardins is 3-1 in game 7. So the Tigers they'll take a game 7.
Yeah, I've got them in 6. I kind of almost forgot it was a 2-3-2 series, because a lot of other ones are 2-1, 2-2-1-1 even out here, which usually we have 2-3-2s as opposed to the other way. But yeah, I just think, like I said, every time I watched Medicine Hat against Calgary or Lethbridge or Swift Current, it was just like teams would get a lead and then bang, bang, bang. Medicine Hat's up 3-1, and you're like, well, that's over. I guess I'm going to bed. Like, it was crazy how they can just turn it on a dime. And I mean, I'm lucky enough to be going to Rimouski, so I would like to see Gavin McKenna play live. So I think that factors into the decision, but I won't be surprised if Spokane at least gets this thing to 7. I guess, yeah, just last one for you. Like, if people want to continue from here and follow your coverage on this series, where can they find you? Are you going to Spokane, and are we going to see you in maybe 2 weeks in Rimouski?
I am going to Spokane. Got that sorted out today, and that'll be fun. And we'll see how things work out. If I can make it to Rimouski or not, I'd love to. I've never been to Quebec, so I think that'd be great. And you can find me on Twitter at Reporter Tubb, or just by searching the Medicine Hat News, and I'm the sports reporter there. So that's all the coverage is coming from me, and yeah, that's where people can check it out.
Perfect, James. We really appreciate you taking the time this afternoon in Medicine Hat, and go enjoy the beautiful weather there.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Again, Brandon, James. I mean, this series, like I asked off the top, it has the potential to be 6-5, 7-6 games. Like, old school Western League hockey where the goalies were stand up and they couldn't move around. I just think these two teams, this top two lines, are going to be fun to watch face each other.
Yeah, both series are going to be very, very fun to watch. I mean, it's fortunately they both have schedules. So we know when they're playing and what times they're playing. So we're still waiting for that. But it's for TSN picks up all the games. RDS will be picking up the Q games. But don't forget to listen to your local play-by-play. Make sure you still show those guys some love. And as much as TSN likes to say they're the hosts of the CHL, they come around for 1 month.
Yep.
Every it's like Christmas decorations. It's they come around once a year for a month, and that's it. So show love to your local play-by-play.
100%. They're World Juniors Prospects Game, Memorial Cup.
Yep.
And we don't even know who's calling it or if they've seen a game this year. No idea. All right, let's talk about our team.
Weekly Rewind.
Russo at the Huskies blue line, stepping over center, long shot. Guimau will catch that and leave it there for Dylan Gill. OT, 15:49 to go, 3-3. Here come the catch through center. Smith giving it to Mercier. There's the shot. Scores! Mercier! Long wrist shot. Game over. Series over. Alex Mercier. The Cats are going crazy on the ice. That one was from a sharp angle, somehow eluding Meloche under the bar. Folks, it's over.
What a shot that sent us to the QMJHL finals.
Oh, rip.
What a rip.
The great call by Marty, but him not, like, I don't think anybody realized it was in. We all heard the ping.
Yeah.
Right? But then you see the puck goes down and you're like, shit, is it across the line or is it not? And then you just see them all jumping around. You're like, holy crap, I think I jumped around more than they did. Yeah. What a snipe. Like,
we've been talking about it for many years, his shot.
Yeah. And we look at the game we went to, the last game in Bathurst, the overtime winner for Mercier.
Pretty much the same thing.
Just, just a shot where the goalie's going one way and he rips it the other way, almost from the Bathurst game was, I think, further out.
Yeah.
But wow, what a shot. I mean,
like I said, your emotions.
Yeah.
Like I had everything pre-ready and I was just like, and my hands were shaking. I was so excited. I've never been around a final. Like I instantly thought of like you, Dobson, Pittsburgh, Dave McKnight, Lorette, guys that have been fans and all the other fans, but the ones I know and talk to, just your guys' emotions, 15 years.
Yeah. So the funny thing about that was I'm super antsy. If you've looked up in the press box during these playoff games, you see me pacing around like crazy.
Early too.
And I do the same thing, watching at home. And it's like, there was a point where during one of the timeouts in overtime, I just had to walk around. So I walked downstairs and my legs almost gave out because there was so many nerves going through my legs that I almost fell down the stairs because I could not walk. It's absurd. You'd think that sort of behavior would be if it was a game 7.
Yeah.
But you're up 3-0. Yeah. And you're like, that's why I'm like, if we get to a game 7 or a Memorial Cup final, like I'm going to literally need an ambulance on standby because I will not be able to take it. But no, it was what a great moment. I think it's been so long that I don't really want to recap the games. Because look, we won both games.
Yeah.
But I want to point out one thing. And it's kind of funny. So some people have heard this story, some people have not. So the plane that the Wildcats took to Rouen, 40-seater propeller plane, good enough for one team.
Yeah.
See the size of the plane that they had on their way home?
That was a 2-team plane.
That was a 2-team plane. It's as if the league thought that we'd be heading back to Moncton for a game 5. So they booked a bigger plane so that both teams could travel on the same flight. Boy, that must have felt good.
Yeah.
Where you could be, 35 people and on a 100-seat plane. That had to feel good.
Yeah, it's just this team all playoffs. Like, and again, as Kobe Bryant said, job's not finished.
Yep.
Yeah, we're excited. Job's not finished. There's still 2 trophies that this team needs to win. But the resolve of this team, like through the playoffs, the Quebec series being pushed to overtime, the Baie-Comeau series giving up that lead in game 5. This series where if you breathed on Milosh, the goal was called back in the first 2 games, and then having to go up to Rouen and, getting outshot in 3 of the 4 games. And, Gardner's post game on our YouTube, he talked about being ready for his first shift in game 3. Well, they were. It's just this team, nothing seems to phase them. And I can't remember which game he said it was. They've had like 9 game winners, 9 different game winners in this playoffs. Like, it is such a depth where this team just doesn't get rattled. And like we said before this thing started, the team that's going to beat Moncton is Moncton.
Yeah.
And they haven't beat themselves yet. And it is crazy to watch the experience on this team. Like, they're getting outshot. They give a goal up with just over a minute left, which gets reviewed and is allowed. Is calling the ice. Like, I'm not disputing it, but to give up that late and then have to go into the room, some teams would be like, I'll be honest with you. I thought we were going to close it out at home even though you asked me and we both said no, we were thinking 6, not 4. But there was a part of me in game 4 that I was like, I think they're coming back. I think we're going to get this at home and it's going to be an absolute banger of an atmosphere. Happy we didn't, but there was a part of me that kind of thought this was going to be it, but this team has just continued to roll, and I'm excited to see what the next couple weeks bring.
Yeah, same. I'm ready for. It also sucks not having hockey, but you also we like the break. And I think during the media scrums, I think Stefan Paquette asked about rust. Is rust a concern? Yeah, sure. I think you could say rust is going to be a concern, but I think Gardner's got this team, where they need to be right now, and regardless of game, whenever game 1 is, I'm confident they're going to be ready.
Yeah, the rest versus rust is always a debate when your team is a top end team, and like London and Medicine Hat and Oshawa, like they. Spokane, they're finishing them in 4 or 5 and they're getting long rests. But this team had a chance in the regular season to take a couple days off and rest everybody for a playoff run. And they didn't. There's no not being ready. And if you watch the Global News on Monday, they asked Gardner about it and he says, we're not really concerned about the opponent. We just need to know what we need to do and take care of what we need to do. And that's been their message throughout the playoffs is we take care of what we have to do, we'll be fine.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like, I will use this opportunity because we kind of joked about it after game 2 when Craig Eagles asked Gardner about, going to Rouen, winning game 3 and then sweeping them. And Gardner says, where April, you're looking ahead to June. Well, kudos to you, Craig Eagles, for having your little light bulb moment or crystal ball. For I don't know if this is just your hockey knowledge or what, but to call a sweep after game 2, that's ballsy.
especially since the question he asked before that was about puck management. And we talked about it on the show last week about how they were having trouble getting through the neutral zone. How was it going to affect them in the smaller rink? They played just fine in the smaller rink. Yeah, they got outshot, but I mean, there's no debating on the goaltending. I think it's easily a 1-2 or 1-1-1-1-1. They're just flipping. Rudy's been the guy to close the series out. I've noticed that. But other than that, I mean, it's been 1-1-1, and I think the fact that Rousseau is getting rest and he's being pushed by Rudy and vice versa, I think that is benefiting the whole club, and I think that's especially benefiting Rousseau for all the noise that was coming into this. I think he's kind of taken it, and he's been playing really well, and he was the reason we walked away with a Game 3 win.
Yeah, 100%. It's the goalies have been spectacular. The first line's been spectacular. I think everybody's been really, really good.
Yeah.
Gabe Smith is just yeah. Like he's
Preston Lounsbury had his best series.
Yeah.
The Mercier Vidicek line showed up in the third round.
Yeah.
They shut down in the second round, showed up in the third round.
Yeah.
They shut down the top line, so another line took over. Like that's the benefit of where we are. So it's been a long time for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 8 years of grinding as an unofficial podcast to where we are now. I didn't think I'd ever get to say, here we go. The Gilles Courteau Trophy Finals are this weekend in Moncton, allegedly. That's what we're hearing. But we don't know against who.
Yeah, the opponent is still TBD. TBD.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting. We'll find out Tuesday evening, and then we'll come in. This show comes out Wednesday morning.
Yep. You're going to get back to back.
And we'll be on live.
We will.
Wednesday night to preview our opponent and the series. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sit through another stressful series at the Avenir Center. I'm don't really want to pick who wins, who I want to face in the final.
You got to answer that now. Because you asked it on the Facebook. Who would you rather?
See, there's benefits to both.
Yeah, and here's my answer if you didn't see it on Facebook. The Loshing storyline, fine. Rimouski gives us the automatic bid. Great. I would like to play Rimouski for the simple fact it's another 2 weeks of grinding them down into a Memorial Cup. It is another 2 weeks of, if we win the series, the mental edge of 5 of 7 games, we beat them. There's also the negative of that's 5 or 6 extra games they get to figure us out. That's 5 or 6 extra games, if it goes the other way. But I just think them getting a nice rest with how beat up they are, because they get to host and we don't. So I don't want them to win at all. Like if it's not us, London or Medicine Hat, as I predicted, I want them to win. I'll put my pom-poms on for them. So I'd like Rimouski to play for another couple weeks.
See, I'm the other way. I want Shawinigan, and I'll tell you why. So let's just say we face Rimouski in the final, and Rimouski happens to win the Gilles Courteau Trophy. But then we go to the Memorial Cup and win it. There's going to be an asterisk beside our name because we didn't win the league.
Is there an asterisk beside Quebec in 06?
Look it up.
Really?
I want to go there. I want to win both. Because if you're the top dog all year, prove you're the top dog, right? Acknowledge your tribal chief. Okay? That's my concern. I want Shawinigan because I want to win both. I don't want to just open up a gift, go to the Memorial Cup, and so be it. Right? I want to be able to say that the Moncton Wildcats were league champions and Memorial Cup champions. I don't want to lose the league title end up Rimouski and win the Memorial Cup. Yes, it would feel great,
Mhm.
right? The party would still be just as good. But I don't want that little X beside the name. They were only there because they played the hosts in the final.
Yeah, if you're adding banners, you're adding 3 banners. Right. Yeah.
Right? I want all 3 banners. I want all 3 cups. That's my argument. Now, if Rimouski wins a game 7, am I going to be mad? No. Right? Because
Are we going to be talking about it are we going to promote that we're going to the Memorial Cup? No.
Moncton deserves to be at the Memorial Cup.
Yep.
But I just want them to earn it.
Yep.
I want them to earn that. I want them to earn the whatever it was, the regular season champions trophy. I want them to earn the Gilles Courteau trophy. I want them to earn the Memorial Cup. Make it 3 for 3.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you, and hopefully it's 11 years. It'll be 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
No, 20 years. 21 years. 2006.
Mm-hmm.
May 22nd, the day the Memorial Cup opens, is the last time Moncton had a W, and that's going to change this year. So yeah, I see your point. I'm just want to schedule. I just want to know, and I just wanted to get going, to be honest with you. So are you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
Yes, sir.
Eric Murray, realtor, buy our house from him. Stick tap of the week.
Right back in it for the first time ever, a Wildcats Gilles Courteau trophy stick tap.
Oh,
the first time ever.
Yeah.
That it's ever happened.
That's crazy.
I would like to give this week's stick tap to a friend of my wife's by the name of Melissa, who has decided to throw Megan and I a diaper party / baby shower called A Baby is Brewing, which I thought was a very clever name.
Yeah.
So it's, if you weren't invited, obviously means I don't like you. Just kidding. No, but this is definitely going to take some burden off us, just because we were so unprepared for what the next 4 weeks is going to be like for us. So to kind of have this as a, I guess, benefit, if I want to put it that way, it's gonna make things a lot easier for us, knowing that we're don't have to go out and buy all these things and stuff like that. So super grateful for that. Megan did want me to say that we never did buy you guys anything, so you don't have to buy us anything. So that was kind of what you want me to put.
Lies.
We bought you supper. That's it.
And we're gonna do the same thing.
Okay, cool.
And we've given you clothes.
Yes.
And we'll probably give you something.
That's true. You did give me clothes. So feel free to donate. If you want the registry Amazon list, let me know.
Yeah.
Pick away at it.
Hit you up on Twitter.
I'll take any baby Moncton Wildcats clothing you can think of. Anything baby Toronto Blue Jays related. Anything Calgary Flames baby related. That's my list.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the Remax Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
And a tip to those, everyone's going to be buying diapers. Wipes.
Yeah.
Many wipes. I will give a shout out to my wife when Dobson was having his diaper party. She's like, yeah, don't bring diapers. Bring wipes. Everybody's bringing diapers. Nobody thinks of wipes. So if you're bringing the diapers, bring a set of wipes with them too. All right. That brings us to the Wildcat of the Week, presented by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa. They've got the teeth whitening available for booking right now for $85. That includes 3 15-minute sessions in that price. Add another $15 for only $20 as well. They've got the loyalty card. Buy 9 spa services, get 1 free. Call them at 506-830-1224, or just hang on for a little bit to find out where they're going to be located as they are moving. So they will be accepting new clients at some point. Score an overtime winner. You found yourself on here 3 of the 4 weeks during the playoffs. It's really hard not to put the guy on who scores the winner to send us to the Q finals. He had two goals in game 4. The biggest one he scored this season with a snipe. Your Wildcat of the week is number 10, Alex Mercier. And that'll do it for the show.
Yeah. You know, of all the inventions
from
the last 100 years, the dry erase board has to be the most remarkable.
So good. Oh, you should have waited till I had this stuff to read. But again, both watch parties are going to be at both Sports Rock locations for game 3 and 4. I don't know when. As well, I guess there's another location for the watch party. Stefan Cormier has put together a watch party at the Moncton Curling Clubs for game 3 and 4. Again, whenever those are. Doors are opening 6:30. They've got liquor. They've got food. So if the Sports Rock is full, you want to head down to the Moncton Curling.
Hurry hard on down to the Curl Month.
80 Lockhart Avenue. Massive thanks to Brandon Caputo of Armchair GM Network to help us preview the OHL final. James Tubb of the Medicine Hat News to preview the WHL final. Here we go, Moncton. 4 wins away for the Gilles Courteau Trophy. Get to the Avenir Center. Get loud. Your Wildcats are playing in the league final this weekend.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.